think everything else is good to go. Bam, bam, bam. Let's see. Boom. Add that. And I think that's everything we need. All right, so let's get to it. What do we got moving today? All right. Good morning, everybody. Looking at the scans today, for the largest mover is NVAX, 113% during pre-market. Good morning, Donnell. Second largest mover is ITOS, which is a low float. Now, one thing that I have been changing up with these low floats is I'm taking note of them so I can trade them, especially if they have good news, like on a Friday, a day that is kind of like a sell-off day. I actually take note of them so I can trade them into the future if depending on what their chart looks like. So we'll look into what their chart looks like. As far as for now, we'll go ahead and take note of NVAX, ITOS. We got Sound that is only up 14%. I don't really know how well that's going to do, but it is not a low float. Looks like it's got 320 outstanding shares, so it's probably got a higher float. We got SGBX up 13% as well. And so we'll actually look through all of these just to verify their catalyst. All of these are above $5. Anything that slips under will just be dead to me. Under $5 though, today we have LIDAR, LIDR. Good morning, Lori Lee. We have SRTS that is up 28%. AEMD up, SRTS up 29%. Well, they're kind of going back and forth, 29%. And then WISA. We've seen WISA before in the past, but we'll look through the catalyst and make sure that we verify what is going on. I also did take a trade, or two trades yesterday that I'll go over as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. Flip over here to the main. And we'll start with NVAX. NVAX is not going to be one that I'm looking to trade because of that high float. Let's go and check that float real quick off the rip. Novavax. Go to statistics. Did I click on it? Yeah. Okay, and then in the float, 123 million. So that disqualifies it for a trade. And I mean, even on the scanner, it's got 140 million shares. So I kind of figured it was going to be a higher float. But let's go ahead and see what news catalyst is it going to continue to suck attention over to it today. And if it doesn't have any good news, I just take it off the list and we will avoid it altogether. Go to press releases over here on NASDAQ.com. 6 hours ago, they did a earnings report. 7 hours ago, they said Novavax and Sonify announced co-exclusive licensing agreement to co-commercialize COVID-19 vaccine and develop novel COVID-19. So they still are dealing with COVID-19. Okay. I don't even know if that's good news anymore. It's been a while, for us to be seeing COVID-19 news. Anyway, this is still not a low float, so I'm going to avoid that one on the day. ITOS is the next one. Let me make sure y'all can hear me too. Not testing 1 2. Yeah, y'all can hear me. Okay, cool. Next one is ITOS, up 35%. This is ITOS Therapeutics. Press releases 39 minutes ago. This is also an earnings thing. They had 120 million registered direct offering. Let's see. They got 4 news reports very recently. So let's check out this first one and see what price. So it says that the price that they're trying to get to was $17.50 per share. Now let's go and look and see if it already hit that on ITOS. ITOS, it hit up here to 17.12, very close to 17.50. And so I don't know. Let me go and see what they actually work on. That's going to be a determining factor too. ITOS profile. Okay, so ITOS or ITOS Therapeutics Inc., a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company, engages in the discovery and development of immuno-oncology, so cancer, therapeutics for patients with cancer. The company's lead antibody product candidate, belrestutug, a antagonist of TIGIT or T cell immunoreceptor with IG and ITIM domains, which is in phase 1B clinical trials. So very early clinical trials on this on their drug. And actually very early clinical trials on all of their stuff. So their first one, phase 1B, second drug, phase 1, 2A. So very clinical studies going on there. Not the strongest catalyst, but it does have the cancer keyword in there though. So we'll see how that acts. I'll take note of it, but I don't know. Sometimes with those clinical drugs, it's kind of, wishy-washy, but I'll take note. Um, the next one that is a low float is SGBX. SGBX. Safe and Green Holdings designs and modifies code engineered cargo shipping containers and purpose built modules for commercial, industrial, and residential building construction in the United States. The company redesigns, repurposes, and converts heavy gauge steel cargo shipping containers into SG blocks, which are green building blocks for construction. It serves architects, landowners, builders, and developers. The company was formerly known as SG Blocks Inc. and changes its name to Safe Green Holdings Corp. in December 2022. The company was founded in 2007. Okay, so that is SGBX. It is struggling to hold up $5 right now. It's kind of gotten beat down on the charts, but we'll look at the charts in just a minute. Looking down here on some of the cheaper stocks though, LIDR up 33%. We'll go over all of these that are green. So we got WISA, AEMD, SRTS, and LIDR. These are all under 5. Maybe future watches. I'll see what the news is on them though. Let's start with LIDR. Press releases. LIDR 16 hours ago. AI. Wow, that is tricky. The name of the company is AI, but it's not A like I, the letter I. It's AI. That's crazy. Okay. So it says announces partnership with leading automotive electronics and vision solutions provider LightOn. AI report first quarter 2024 financial results on Tuesday, May 14th. So they had earnings and they got a little bit of automotive electronics news, but they're only $1.15 or $1.59. So how much can you really make? I don't know. You know, the ATR on LIDR is 12 cents. Ugh. Very small ATR. Gonna be hard to squeeze out a good living out of LIDR. Let's go to SRTS. And the reason I'm not really looking at the floats or anything on these because they're just out of my price range. I don't want to dig too deep and waste too much time on them. So let's see. Census Healthcare. They had earnings report. Largest veterinary emergency hospital in Tel Aviv acquires Census Healthcare's SRT 100 to provide gentler radiotherapy to treat tumors in dogs and cats. Now we know that the animals have been a little bit of a theme on this week. We saw earlier this week some animal type whatever was up. So that may be a theme, but I don't know how strong it's gonna be. It may be something that moves a little bit slower. I mean, because I don't know. AEMD is the next one. AEMD. Atheon medical reports positive results from an in vitro binding study of its hemopurifier in removing extracellular vesicles from cancer patient plasma. This is another cancer catalyst. It's $1.50 right now. Maybe something to watch into the future. I'll click in. So the last news was in February. So we'll check this most recent news here. Um, let's see. Life-threatening infection. A medical therapeutic company focuses on developing products to treat cancer and life-threatening infectious diseases. Today announced positive results for an in vitro binding. I already read that. The translation study provides preclinical evidence to support Aethion's planned phase 1 safety, feasibility, and dose-finding clinical trials of the hemopurifier in patients with solid tumors who have stable or progressive disease during anti-PD-1 monotherapy treatments such as Keytruda or Opdivo. This is a quote from, looks like, the chief executive officer. He says the positive data from this in vitro binding study of the hemopurifier is an important step forward for Aethion ahead of the potential start of our planned phase 1 oncology trials in Australia and India, stated James Frank, interim chief executive officer and chief financial officer of Aethion Medical. We have previously demonstrated that our hemopurifier can reduce EVs isolated from cancer patient plasma with those EVs when those EVs are placed in a buffer solution. However, ahead of our oncology study, we wanted to conduct more robust translation study. Okay, so they're in clinical trials. This is another clinical trial one where it's like, could go either way. I want to see the prices get up. I want to see the ranges open up for me to be interested. One that we have seen before though is WISA. WISA Technologies. Let's see what did they get earnings as well. Cytech announces MOU with WISA. Reliable Rudy, what's up? Thoughts on BTSI breakout? Let's jump over to that right after WISA. Cytech announces MOU with WISA Technologies to integrate WISA E into Hi-Fi Rose line of media streamers. Okay, that's nothing. All right, let's go look at BTSI. BTSI. And I don't know if you're looking at that for today. Vitra. So last news was on April 30th. Had its first quarter 2024 conference call for Tuesday. Vitra to introduce VXR training solution at IAHSS exhibition, signaling increased commitment to healthcare security training. It did receive a reward, a $5.9 million prototype contract from the U.S. government or U.S. Army IVAS prime contractor Microsoft. Okay, so they receiving contracts and things like that. They put out their earnings. Back here, let's see. So yeah, they just got sprinkles of good news. Let's go look at their actual chart though. And we'll pop over to some of these other charts while we're over here. So let's go over to the higher time frames first, and then we drill down. So starting with BTSI. Looking on the monthly chart, oh my goodness, this thing's already moving up. It's already got a strong trend. Looking at the high of where it was in, what is this, 2000s. In 2000s, it was at $22, and it's made its way all the way back. Did somebody call this one out? I think somebody, I don't know if it was Mike D. No, they were trading something that was dealing with like desk and furniture. No, this isn't the one. This is a different one. Let me go and look at what they actually do real quick. It just has that same look, that big curl off the bottom that that other ticker had. Okay, Vitra Inc. provides use of force training and firearms training simulators for the law enforcement, military, and commercial markets worldwide. Its patented technologies, software, and scenarios provide intense training for de-escalation, judgmental use of force, marksmanship, and related training that mimics real-world situations. It offers V300 Simulator, a 300-degree wraparound screen for simulation training, a V180 Simulator, a 180-degree screen, and then V100, a single screen based simulator system. So they got multiple levels of this training hardware, and they have their own software as well. They were founded in 1993 and headquartered out of Chandler, Arizona. Okay, so could be something that comes into play. Let's jump back over here to the larger time frame. I mean, it's already breaking up. I mean, it's already, moving upward so strongly. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this one. I don't know. Do you wait for a dip or do you buy like the tip top going trying to get to 22 up there? I don't know about that one. That one it looks bullish, but it's like one of those bullish moves that's like, is it too late? Is it already going? Like, how do I even jump onto this train without, breaking my ankles? Anyway, let's go and review the trade from yesterday that I took. Um, that trade was on INOD. Now, INOD showed up on Monday, and I told you guys I was going to put it on the watch, and I was going to be just watching it for continuation throughout the week. Yesterday, there was literally nothing to trade. Everything was trash. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to jump back over to my continuation movers and see what happens. So let's just go over this. So I took two entries on this. The first entry, I really did not think this thing was coming back under $11. I put a little tight stop on it, and I basically entered at 11:03 right here. And this is a 1-minute chart. I hate looking at lower time frames. Let's look at a 15-minute. All right, so on the 15-minute, we can see, and the thing that got me into this is I saw this was the pre-market where it came up and then it came into the open and formed two big wicks right here. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not showing you guys the right screen. So it formed these two big wicks on the 15-minute, and then it formed two reversal patterns. So this pattern right here, if it was at the top of the move, like the tip top, I would be thinking, okay, this thing is big bearish. But this is like in consolidation where it has slammed down, slammed down. It's kind of like in consolidation, and it came down. So I actually entered this thing at 11:03 thinking this thing isn't going back under 11. Let's get it. So I entered there, and I actually got stopped out on this candle. It had came back up and slammed down. I was like, oh my goodness, this thing, why? So I ended up re-entering this and pretty much getting my loss back. I just wanted to be at least break even, right? But I did size down to half size. So the first one, since this was continuation, I didn't want to be taking 1,000 shares on it. Size down to 500, which gave me some extra capital to play with for a second entry with half size. The half size position did give me my return that I was looking for on the 500. I got 28 cents off of this winner, but that's what I was expecting to get off the 500. Get that 28 cents and get out. Now the ATR yesterday on this one was 70. I forget what the ATR was. Maybe I took a note on it. I forget exactly what it was. Let me see in the notes. Did I put that in the notes? I know I took notes on this. I did use the same strategy, ATR break and hold. Went through the trade plan, saw that everything else on the day was trash, so I transitioned over to continuation stocks. I knew it was going to be a little bit of a slower mover because it was on low volume, but I was thinking, man, this thing is bullish. So it pushed up a little bit, and the first time it only pushed up to 11:09. Now, when I'm trading the ATR, I'm looking to get that first 25% on board before I put a hard stop in. My first hard stop was right under the whole dollar. So I had a hard stop at 10.90. And I was like, man, I don't think it's getting back under there. Whatever. I'll just risk. Now, thinking about how I set this up, um, I was in profit quite a bit, like 50 bucks, and I was like, I don't think it's gonna break down, but it ended up breaking down and stopping me out. And I did take that little hit of 66 bucks, which wasn't crazy. But the way that I was looking at it is the worst case scenario that I was planning for was a breakdown to the 1050s. That would have been about a $260 loss. My max loss on every day is $500. So 265, it's like, if it gets there, that's going to be the worst that can happen. So knowing that, I was like, okay, well, what levels above this can hold? So 1065 came into play, and it actually came down, tapped 1065 and came up, and I was like, ooh, that's great. Let me enter there. And that was that entry that I got stopped out on. It went back to 1060 or 1075, then went up. So I had calculated, hey, what is the worst that can happen today? And then from there, I kind of played within the range. And then on my second go, which was the winner that got my money back, I really could have took more profit on this. I mean, to be honest, but I just literally put my stop at break even. And I said, at least I'm gonna be break even on the day, or I'm gonna take good profit, right? So this was the entry down here on this one. Got back in 1109, and then I averaged down a little bit for it to hold at 11, and then it started popping. So it popped from 11 up to 1110, up to 1130s, up to 1140s. I really could have taken profit up here around the 1170s, but I was like, hasn't stopped me out yet. I'm just gonna keep trailing up my stop. Based on the ATR though, my trailing stop was moving every 19 cents. So every 19 cents, I was moving the trailing stop up. So yeah, took that. Really could have took more profit. Probably could have even been really, really green on the day. But it was like $120 win. I was like, that's okay. But I was looking at my max loss. Like, what was the worst on the day? The worst on the day that could happen was 250 bucks. So I was like, if I can get, if this thing wants to really continue, this could be very good, into not into the close, but during the day, if it wants to just give a quick explosion, and I could take profit there. But either way, managed the risk, took notes and everything. This is pretty much how it went. After my entry, I was down 13 bucks, up 20 bucks, down about 40 bucks, and it rose to 62, rose to 62. And once I got that 60 bucks back, this is where I put my stop in. I was like, actually, I gave it a little bit of time because it would have stopped me out back through here. But I actually put my stop in right at that cushion where I knew I was gonna either be break even or not. It actually went on up to 154 bucks, and I know what you're saying. Oh man, you didn't take that 154 bucks. No, I didn't. I didn't. I was looking for even more because I knew it was gonna be a break even day anyway. If it wanted to explode, I was gonna give it a little bit of time to do that, and then it came down and stopped me out with that loss in pocket. So pretty much a scratch day. But I definitely made sure that my risk was handled. And on the second trade, I actually moved my the worst that could happen on the day up. Second trade was smaller position size, and I closed up how bad the day could get. So my stop, the worst that I wanted to see was 1075, and I'll be out with that 225 shares with about maybe another $50 loss or something like that. And then once it started holding up the 11s, I put a hard stop at 11, and then I just continued to just trail it up, 11.25, 11 whatever, every 19 cents, every about 20 cents is what I was looking at based on the ATR. But yep, that was that trade. Um, just like it's a break even day, whatever. I'm still up. That other trade that I took earlier this week, 700 bucks. I pretty much didn't risk anything on these two trades in comparison to my normal. And this trade, the difference between these two is this was a continuation trade. So I sized down and I was looking for it to grind higher. On the day one trades where it's actually catalyst on the day, I'll just go big and say, hey, let's get this scalp and get on down, right? This one back here, what was this? 71 cents in the profit in comparison to a continuation stock where I only got maybe 30 cents in the profit. So it's like, give or take. I just want to manage my risk well on those trades. Anyway, we do have about 5 minutes to the bell. Let's jump back over to the scans real quick. Good morning, Acar. Acar Pet Love. I bet Acar is invested in some of these pet stocks. Let's see. Looking back over here at the scanners, we have MVAX that we're going to be ignoring because it's a higher float and probably going to be super choppy today. Now, it may end up going, it's up 121 cents, but I mean, 121%, but you know, that higher float kills it for me. ITOS behind it. We have SG that popped up here, but it's a higher float. And the way that I'm looking at the way that TOS gives you your shares, this isn't the actual float, but it's a very good indicator of what the float is. If the shares are above 100,000 or 100 million shares, a lot of times that float is much higher. Now, sometimes you have to go and look and research it to make sure what the float is, but for the most part, if it's over 100, it's probably going to be a pretty high float. And then for the things that are under 5 that we were watching, AEMD, SRTS, and this is for the folks that want to trade under $5. These are your top movers. Now, AEHL is negative 21 cents, but it's only up here because it's pre-market. Once the market opens, this will disappear and a positive will come up here because this thing only picks up things above 0%, top gainers above 0% that are winning in the volume. But yeah, we'll see how that goes on the open. And kind of just manage what we see, and I'll take note, especially into next week. I'm learning that keeping these things on my kind of scan and being able to look at them when the days are dry, like everything's just bad, and going to those continuations, that's where more profit is. I'm like, okay, I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring it out because I usually don't play continuation. I just play on the day one and just let it die. But there's definitely still profit on the table. And we saw that with MULN. If anybody was trading MULN at all, it had a couple of following day pop-ups. Right? So right here, it actually tested up here to these highs, died big, and then it started to come back up, start to provide opportunities above the ATR high. And the setup that I'm using is ATR high break and hold. So that's why I'm so focused on it to get up there and show me. Like this one ripped over the ATR and it just kept going. I saw this on this day, but there was no pullbacks. It just went straight up and the pullback was just really, really dicey. So I wasn't trying to play with that. We got about a minute left on the before the open. What do we want to watch out of the open? I guess I'll watch MBAX since it is the biggest mover on the day, up 125%. And then once it starts to die off, we'll skip to something better. If it dies off, I said when it dies off. If it dies off, the market can do anything it wants. We love to focus on the ifs. Let me read some of this. Reliable said GOTO, GOTO could be a less volatile play, flirting with week's high on GOTU. I'm gonna look at that after we get this open here and see what happens with this because we don't have anything else that's even close to 80%. So this is the biggest one. If this fails on the day, it's gonna take a whole lot of confidence. But it's Friday, so I'm like, it's a natural sell-off day anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised if things just dump. If things dump on you on Friday and you're surprised, that's bad. That's really bad. MVAX getting its ATRs put up here on the 15-minute. Let's look at what the true ATRs are back here on the daily. So it's got an ATR high of 1066 up here. 1066 ATR high. And then down here at the ATR low, it has 938 ATR low. I'm not even gonna type them in. I'm just know that those white lines right there are the daily high and the daily low. If it starts to crack down, cool. It could do whatever it wants. But definitely has some issues holding above 10 during pre-market. And also, let's look at where are the cancerous stocks on today. So looking at the relative volume is kind of how the first thing I look at to see if something is cancerous. MVAX has quite a bit of relative volume, and because it has so much relative volume, it kind of takes away from some of these smaller things. Let me flip some of these up. So this relative volume here, AEMD, has 930 times relative volume, but the price is the issue for me. And I know a lot of people are like, well, the price doesn't matter. Well, if it's too cheap and it can't provide you range to take profit, unless you're just going to be, doing the 5 second trade or the 2 second trade, get in. If it doesn't happen, get out. Get in. If it doesn't happen, get out. If you want to do that, that's a different type of trading that maybe could do something with this. Let's look at LIDR as well. The relative volume on this one is 26 times the norm. SRTS and WISA. Okay, WISA relative volume is just irrelevant. Not even one time. And with them being this cheap, not even being one times what it can do, I'm just not even impressed on WISA. So I'll take that one off. We got AEMD with 1,000 relative volume, but it's still kind of trash to me. Going down on the 15-minute. Hit the ATR high and getting absolutely stomped on. Going back down the other way. Okay, so let's look at back over to MVAX, pushing back up to these the ATR high, but not being able to claim it just yet. Still, remember the low float, the higher the float, the pretty much the tighter the range gets during the day. So it's like the beginning, yeah, it can give you a pretty good move on this first candle, which moved from 894 up here to 9 to 1050. Very good move on the first candle, but after this, it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. ITOS was one that I was going to keep note of just in case, but I really don't like the catalyst being the preclinical catalyst, but maybe, in the future, it'll be something that comes back up. And when it does, I'll be ready for that and I'll trade it on a day one instead of a continuation trade. LIDR popping back up there. Donnell says AEMD scalped. Cheap one. What does it say? 1K share, 1,000 share entry at $1.68, and you got out at 176. Wow, that's a scalp right there. Let's go look at AEMD here. Let's see. So you got in at 168. 168. So pretty much you took the breakout here. Up, man, you are lucky. Oh my gosh. You took the breakout here and took profit right up around the ATR right there. Yeah. Yeah. You definitely got it by the skin of your teeth on that one. That's some skill level right there. Or either you just are rubbing a one of those rabbit feet and you're sitting there just doing your thing. What is that? So 68 to 76, that's like what, 14 cents? 14 cents. Nice little scalp before it takes the souls of everybody else that was not able to hit the sell button in time. MVAX showing a little downwards move. ITOS did have a quick pop up above the ATR highs, but I don't know how it's going to do with those preclinical trials. It may be bullish and it may continue, but this is the first couple of minutes. If it stays within this range between 16 to 17, it may just consolidate all day. It's fine. It's getting punched in the mouth a little bit here on the 15-minute. Go back over here. MVAX. Anything else that I'm seeing? This one, INOD. This is why I don't like holding overnight. If I'm gonna play a continuation, look at this thing diving. diving into today, diving back to the wow. See, that's why I'm like, let me take what I can while I can and play above the ATR high. This play was above the ATR high. Under the ATR, I'm not even touching them. I'm good. I've learned my lesson. I've busted my lip. I fell down like 56 stairs, flights, or whatever. And, and what I learned is it was unnecessary. You know, you can't use a parachute on stairs because every single stair is going to hit you. You're going to bounce, hit you, bounce, hit you, bounce until you get to the end of it. But anyway, yeah, I like to avoid the injuries of the market. WISA still going down. Everything else is kind of going down as well. SRTS, which was up 21%. I kind of thought this one was going to do better towards the $5, but once they get under five, it's kind of like an instant short. Especially if they're like prop traders or anything, they're gonna jump on that thing heavy, and try to kill it. Especially if it's like weak catalyst. But yeah, now it's 50 cents away from $5. I know even if it gets back up here to this ATR high, I don't even know if it'll be able to break over it with this amount of weakness. AEMD breaking down the ATR low. WISA in no man's land. LIDR coming on back into this consolidation area. So yeah. NVAX still sucking up some attention from everybody, but this is the beginning. This is only the first 15 minutes, pushing up here to the ATR high, to the 1082s. 1072 was ATR high, but the ATR daily high, right there where we had it marked. But now, will it find true resistance? Here's the question. Or will it be able to continue to push? It did visit 1262 up here during pre-market, but pre-market is different because they can make much bigger move on much lower volume. But during intraday, real people are here. Real people are trading in real time. ITOS back in consolidation. I'm not too interested in that one. I want to see them clearly above that ATR high, showing me some bullish momentum. Did I just stutter? Oh my gosh. Momentum. All right. Let's see. Anything else we're seeing? Any other call outs? So Reliable called out SOUN. Yeah, I know a lot of people have been trading that one. I have never really touched that one. It is a higher float. It's one of those that could be something. If we look over here on the higher time frames on the monthly, we can see that it got beat down here to 250s, got a big pump up to $8, went all the way up to 10, fell back to 575, and now is in what looks like consolidation with a higher support level than previous. And this is on the monthly chart, so these really are some good supports here. $4 around 450s that was formed at the bottom here, right there, for $4 that is playing above right now. And we can see that it is forming a little bit of a trend, but I really don't really trade trends a whole lot, especially when I'm doing like day one trades or things like that. I'm looking for the monthly to be very bullish. It doesn't have to be a trend. It could be the first candle that's up, like one of these two. Like this is a day one and then this is a day two. It could be this candle, and I'm trying to play above that ATR high to get that next move. Now, usually I'm not holding into aftermarket either, or yeah, after hours either. So I'll sell and then I'll watch it on the next day to see if it holds over the ATR and gets on up. But these are these are months, these are weeks, and these are days. So it will be on these candles that I'll be doing that, but it will be on a low float as well. All right, back over to NVAX. Continue to struggle to hold that ATR. Continue to find resistance there. ITOS, LIDAR, SOM. Everything kind of just losing its way. especially these things that are super close to 5. I really don't like them. And then SRTS going on down as well. All right, so we pretty much cleaned up our watch list. Um, Invex is pretty much taking the eyes on the day, almost up 10 times the norm. LIDR, I'm gonna get that one off of there. So yeah, we got a little bit of, it's one of those days. If you had something to play on continuation today, maybe, but with it being a sell-off day, let's actually look at the SPY. The SPY was up. It was at 520s. And yesterday it was trading around 519, and during pre-market broke out of these 20s and has broken over, what's the ATR? It's a long way away from the daily ATR, actually. Looking over here on the daily on the SPY, daily ATR all the way up here at 527. That is a while away. And then ATR low at 516. So big range that it could go, and it's kind of in limbo right now. Now it could test back to the levels that we saw previously. I think I had marked these from some ATR in the past, 519 and 507. But yeah, it could bank off of that 519 and continue up. But on the weekly and on the monthly, it's looking very, very bullish, engulfing this previous counter. Hasn't quite broke out of it yet above the 525s, but very, very bullish pattern there. Now, this may be consolidation. We never know. We'll have to see what happens on the close of this month and on the close of this week to see what happens. But interesting overall on those. So far, though, this week, green week for me, starting off green on the month and just trying to continue to do that, The loss that I took on last month, the end of the very last day, I don't know why I got so gutsy on the last day and didn't just follow my plan. But the very last day really ate up a lot of profit. But still, I'm green on the year, green on everything else. So I'm pretty good. I'm still pretty, pretty profitable, other than when I don't follow the system. Because as soon as I don't follow the system, I'm basically a day one trader. I can get emotional. I start breaking rules, and I end up with more knots on my head. So, trying not to do that. MVAX I guarantee you it's chopping people up, to be honest. Popping back and forth like this with this tight range. But once it breaks down to 922s, it's probably going to be dead on the day under that ATR low. Or 925 really is that $0.25 level. But ITOS, very slow mover out of the open. And plus, it's kind of in consolidation here. It hasn't really made a decision to continue higher. This pre-market doesn't look like a continuation pre-market where it's just going to be super strong. Now it could, but the pre-market just doesn't look like it. SOUN continue to pump up. It broke over this ATR 566 up to the 590s and continuing up. Yeah, all the cheaper ones are just. I remember trading those cheaper stocks. I used to hate it. I'd be like, bro, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just trade this price level? I have the money to do it. Why isn't this working? It's because the skill level to trade those penny stocks is skill and luck. You need both of them. You need to know, look, I don't have a lot of time here. I am truly trading the trash of the trash. I don't have a lot of time. Let me get what I can take. And I was wondering why some of the YouTubers that I was watching was taking such big sides on these cheap stocks. It's because they know the death rate is high. They're gonna take 10,000, 20,000 shares and get like 3 cents and get out. Especially if it has liquidity for them to do it. They're gonna do it and get out. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm up $2,000, but you took 30,000 shares. Okay. And then sometimes they just get in and out, in and out, in and out until they get up to that $2,000, which may be, 200,000 shares. ITOS on the second candle, popping up there to that ATR high, still has not confirmed that it wants to be bullish above this level. What is this? Looks like a double top here, 1775s that it hit, and getting punched in the mouth quite a bit there at that top movement. NVAX, I'm going to take NVAX off. It's absolute trash to me. SOUN still up though. Let's jump back over here to the scans. SG, what is this one? SG, let's throw that up there. It's a higher float, but I want to see why it's up. SG Sweet Green is the name of this one. 17 hours ago, they announced their first quarter 2024 financial results. Sweet Green launches caramelized garlic steak nationwide, expanding its protein options or offerings. Okay, so food company. I don't know if that's real meat. I don't know. Let me go and see if it's fake meat. SG Sweet Green. Sweet Green Inc., together with its subsidiaries, operates fast food restaurants serving healthy foods at scale in the United States. The company also accepts orders through its online and mobile ordering platform, as well as sells gift cards that do not have an expiration date and can be redeemed. The company was founded in 2006 and is headquartered in Los Angeles, California. Okay. Interesting. Anybody into steaks and stuff, there's you a stock. Okay, but that is not for me. And that's the basic thing. You come in here, you just have to find the stock in play for whatever you're looking for. Like for me, it's in small caps. What stock is in play in small caps? If you trade mid caps, what stock is in play? Now, some people just play ranges, so they don't really worry about the stock and play on the day. They just worry about a stock that moves a specific range, like a stock that's moving has an ATR of $5, $6. Well, it's gonna be a lot easier to get 30 cents on something that consistently is moving $5 or $6, right? And that's why a lot of people that trade those large caps can trade those ranges, and they use all the Fibonacci's and all that stuff. But down in the small cap land, some of that stuff will get you killed. For real. Nothing works as it should in the small caps. ITOS coming on back down to 17s. And let's just quickly just go through these. ADMA. That's a slower mover, but it's up 21% on the day. Let's see why it's up. ADMA. ADMA Biologics, a biopharmaceutical company, engages in developing, manufacturing, and marketing specialty plasma-derived biologics for the treatment of immune deficiencies and infectious diseases in the United States and internationally. The company offers Bivigam, an intravenous immunoglobulin IVIG product indicated for the treatment of primary hormonal immunodeficiencies. Asiniv, a IVIG product for the treatment of PI. I don't know what PI stands for. And Nabi HB for the treatment of acute exposure to blood containing hepatitis B, surface antigen, and other listed exposures to hepatitis B. Okay, so they were founded or incorporated in 2004, headquartered in Ramsey, New Jersey. Them Jersey boys. Looking over here on the higher time frame, this one is one of those that's like look at it. It looks extended. It's got a high up here of 14, and it just broke over this thing of, was it 685, and just kind of pushing, you know, pushing. All right. So the first thing that I try to do when I'm looking for a stock and play is I look for the bigger movers, whether they're low floats or high floats, and see if they have the catalyst to absorb the attention on the day. So, if we have something that's moving 126%, why am I looking at something that's moving, not that, unless it's purely continuation. I wouldn't be looking at a day one mover that's up 2%. That's a low float or a small cap. All right. Index has started its slowdown. We're coming into the first 30 minutes of the market. SG continue to push higher. That's the meat steak place. ADMA pushing higher as well with their hepatitis B and acute diseases and all of that stuff. SON has splashed all the way back down through the ATR high, looking very bearish, but maybe it'll hold up as long as it stays away from that 550 level, which it seems to be in love with going back towards. Zim, that's a shipping company. Oh my goodness. I remember I actually traded Zim when they were doing, I think they were doing a dividend at one time, and I had got in on it, but they cut their dividend, so I just got rid of them. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm great. But they cut their dividend and they've been moving up. When I saw them, they were like around 10 maybe, and now they're up to 17. So that's a pretty nice move on this shipping company. Clean Spark is another one we've been seeing week over week that has been trending up and having these days where it is definitely got some very clean moves, but not really in my time frame. And plus, this is a higher a higher float stock. I see GameStop as well. Wait, was that on? No, this is GameStop. My bad. I was talking about Clean Spark. They're switching around. They're both up 7%. They were switching around, so I accidentally clicked Clean Spark. But yeah, that's GameStop going towards $20. And Clean Spark had a big shove down this morning, big old fall down, and a recovery back over the ATR highs up here of the 1761. ATR high on the daily chart though is the 1902 on Clean Spark. But yeah, let's see what else. What else? As far as big losers, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of like really huge losers on today. Snapchat is always going to be falling. Shopify falling, Google falling, Uber falling. Um, what else? Pfizer falling. Tesla came down a little bit, but it's still doing better than it was a couple weeks ago. Amazon is partially up. Spy kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit here at the highs, back towards that ATR high, and we'll see if it crashes on back under that. The thing is with the ATRs, I have them on each time frame, 15 hour, whatever. And so it needs to break the 15 first before it can break the hour usually, unless they're just right in line, right? So it's got to break the 15, give me a nice test above this, especially if there's space in between the 15 and the hour. And then I'm looking to try to take an entry for that bullish move on upward. Bank of America getting on up there. Nvidia just hurting people's hearts here, closing up these ranges. The bottom of this one was 10, right around $10. Top side is 1038. So like I said, these higher floats, they get tighter. The first one moved almost $1 on this first candle, and now we're looking at 38 cents. So let me see, 960 up to a high of $11 actually. 960 up to 11. So almost $2 move to 38 cents on the second candle. So not the greatest, not the greatest. SG continuing to rip on up there, up 42% now. When we talk about cancerous stocks, though, it's still not super cancerous to me to be a day one mover. It's only two times its relative volume. Invax is 11 times, and then if we were to look down here, these are probably even more, but these cheaper ones are all just kind of out of the running right now. LIDR, SRTS, WISA, AEMD. So yeah, if you got profit on a Friday, be glad, be grateful, because a lot of people do not have profit on Friday. They don't even know how to get profit on any day. So, be grateful. Anyway, SG is pretty much probably going to be the main watch that most people are going to be trading. It's just doing a lot, and it's on restaurant news, steak news. So I don't even know how it's doing so well, but sometimes things are crazy. Reliable Rudy said cut the dividend and it goes up because it wasn't sustainable dividend. Yep, yeah, for sure. Especially during the time that I was looking at it, it was during the time, was that right after COVID, or it's like 20, I don't know, like 2022 or something like that. But yeah, they actually had a lawsuit. That's what made me jump out of it. They had a lawsuit that they actually got cleared up. And I was like, okay, they cleared it up, but I don't know about this anymore. So I kind of just took my eyes off of it. Um, and they ended up winning. So, but I wasn't willing to risk my money on them being successful in the court system. ITOS slamming on back down here. And this is what I'm saying, man. They can't even hold the ATR high on the 15 minutes. So how in the world is it going to just continue higher? You know, it's not gonna happen. Looking over on the daily chart, it tapped the daily ATR up here at 1775 and found all types of resistance back the other way. SOUN still bundling around, but it's got a lot of work to do. Almost an engulfing candle on this 15 minute, and this candle has 2 minutes left on it. So I don't know if that's going to be able to get back up there. Um, just does not look likely, but maybe it'll do something we're not expecting. SG pushing on up there, high of 34.45. I'm just gonna focus on the things above $5 because going back down there to look at that trash, I just don't want to do it. Um, yeah, but I think we're pretty much seeing the best that this market has to offer. Um, ITOS just could not keep up with the volume. It's barely getting volume. So, you know, we got this thing up 17% with not sound. What am I? Not sound. But SG, and SG is looking the best. It's only got 6 million shares traded, but it's going to take a whole lot of money to move it. A whole lot of money to move it back down, though. May get up here and just consolidate during the day. We'll just have to see. But yeah, that is the stream for today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I only took, I guess you can count it as 3 trades this week. My first trade was $700. Second trade was minus 66. Third trade got my money back. And so I'm just sitting on the week, just kind of even in this first week. But we'll see how week 2 goes, and try to get some profit out of the market or whatnot. So we'll see. But 3 trades on the week. A lot of people ask me, how many trades do you take a week? Well, it depends on how many times I see my setup. If I see the setup, 1 time, 2 times, I'll take 2 trades. If I see it all 5 days, I'm trying to take trades all 5 days. It just depends on the setup, because I can gather more information based on catalysts, based on all of that, if it's going to give me profit or not. And that the number one setup so far has been that ATR breakout and hold. Um, Happens multiple times a month. I only need a couple of them. You know, and taking 1,000 shares on that day one, if I can find one on the day one where I can get 1,000 shares, if I'm getting 70 cents in the profit, 80 cents in the profit, It's been a while since I've got a full dollar in the profit because I haven't been buying low, low. When I was buying low, low, like under the ATR and getting that full move up to the top ATR, I was getting a little bit more. But I don't think I need that because buying at the top and getting a nice little push up squeeze as I scale up the size from 1,000 to maybe 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, that's gonna make up for missing that big move from the bottom of the bottom, you know, because it's so rare that they actually go from the bottom back up to the top after they've broken down, especially in the small caps. People just give up on them. But yeah, that is it for today. I'm about to get up and out of here, try to go and find me something to eat, and then get some work done. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you're going to continue trading today, definitely remember that it is Friday. It is a natural sell-off day. So, if you get caught in something, be quick. Be quick, man. But yeah, that's it for me today. Appreciate you for tuning in on all of the various sources and media outlets. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.